Good morning, so it's Bex, founder of Mama's Instinct. I just wanted to come on and say, are we talking the same language? And you're probably thinking, what do you mean by are we talking the same language? So, as you are aware, I work with women with special circumstances, and this is a term that is different to the term that medical professionals use of high risk. So women may have special circumstances in pregnancy, they may have special circumstances leading up to the birth of the baby, and known medical conditions, which means their options are different to women that are preparing for birth and labour and have no special circumstances. The medical professionals use the language of high risk, whereas I like to use the word special circumstances, because just because you have what is known as special circumstances doesn't mean to say you can't have a positive birth experience. I've worked with loads of clients now who are preparing for birth and labour, and they get thrown a curveball, which means they might have to change their plans. So recently, I posted last night, I had a client who was preparing for a home birth, and unfortunately this didn't happen. She did have a special circumstance and did agree to have an induction, which, because she had agreed to this special circumstance and decided it was the best course of action for herself and her baby and her family, once her waters were broken, she laboured and had baby in arms within 2 hours. This is like amazing, and I've been working with lots of clients that are having inductions and having really positive experiences because they're not fighting it. Their mind and body are working together. They have decided that this intervention is the right intervention for them. And why do you think women actually fear induction so much? And I strongly believe this is because all we hear around induction is horror stories, and labour went on for days and days and days, it took a really long time, I was in and I was really uncomfortable, and more language that is used that you hear and you can't unhear. What's really interesting is the women that I work with, and I work with them using a technique where we explore induction, we explore how to avoid induction in the first place, and look at natural ways of giving some gentle nudges along, which sometimes works but doesn't always. And then I look at, with my clients, how to have a positive induction, how to work with the body, work with the hormones, so that the women are able to labour with ease, and also use an MP3 that enables their body to feel, and their subconscious to feel happy with the idea of an induction. We do know induction comes in 3 different methods, and there are other methods that are not being used as widely that can also be used, but induction can be a long process. But the women that I'm working with, it's far from that. They are labouring with ease, they are having maybe the pessary inserted and then being checked within a very short time frame, and they're in active labour, and then they're progressing quite well and fast. I do also have clients that will go through the induction process and their body isn't responding to the hormones, and then they choose to have a caesarean, and that's the right choice for them also. So I have had clients that have managed to go through the first stage of induction, which is the pessary, and to the second stage of induction, which is the augmenting of waters, to the third stage of induction where they're having the oxytocin synthetic hormone drip, and being able to do this with just breathing, and astounding the medical professionals because they're breathing through the surges. Women know their bodies, so when women have gone through the process and their bodies are not opening up and they're not responding to the oxytocin drip, then my clients are actually choosing to go down the cesarean route because they are then feeling that that's the safest route for them, rather than because they're not actually dilating, rather than trying the baby getting in more in distress. So there's lots of things to do. We know that they're also offering in some trusts a balloon induction, when they're putting a balloon catheter inside the cervix and filling that with saline to expand the cervix to help. And they're finding that's quite favourable for a lot of women as well. But that's not being offered everywhere. So you have got different choices. We know the pessary is prostaglandins, and let's explore where prostaglandins actually come from. So in semen, in sperm, prostaglandins actually are present, and what their job is normally is to go up to the cervix and start eating away at and softening the layers that are there to help with the start of the induction process. So some women actually find that they're having regular intercourse leading up to the birth is actually more effective than the pessary, because the pessary has less prostaglandins than you would get in semen. So there are ways and means around it, but there is special circumstances. If a woman's waters have gone, they're then unable to use the natural method, because that could actually add infection into an area where we wouldn't want it. So there's lots to think about this, lots to make an informed decision, and to work out whether it's right for you, and to ask what's the benefits, the risks, what's the alternatives, what's the instinct saying, hiya Tamzin, what's the alternatives, and what if we do nothing? So some women will go for expectancy management and ask for a few more days before they go through an induction. Other women will be in labour and agree to different methods of induction whilst in labour, so they'll agree to have their waters augmented so that labour progresses. And for most women, within having waters augmented, if they're in labour and progressing well, and things are just slowed down, and the baby's just not bursting the water because they're maybe not in an optimal position, this can actually speed labour back up and end with a baby in arms. But they will be looking at the clock. So after 2 hours, if a baby hasn't been born, or that women aren't progressing, they will then want to look at other alternatives like the synthetic oxytocin drip, or even other options as in cesarean, which for some women that is the option they would prefer to go down. It does not have to be. If a woman isn't dilating at the rate they want to, you can buy more time. You can send people out the room. You can do a bit of things that we know naturally get oxytocin going. So laughter, stimulation of certain parts of the body, and really spending that time doing soothing strokes and cuddling, kissing, changing the environment and the ambience of the room so that a woman feels more relaxed. Right, I've got to go, and I'll speak to you later. If you are in a position where you're finding that induction is looming and you're worried about it, don't be. I'm more than happy to have a chat with you, to explore what I can do to support you, and let's let you have a really positive induction like the women that I've been working with. Speak to you later.